sometimes some people just want to like this kind of.
Would you say they have sex fantasies or?
Do you understand? And it might be something from the house. Are you getting like issues from the family that might trigger him to do some certain kind
With
of thing?
multiple women?
Excuse me. And then you don't test one, you don't test two, and then it's kind of a fantasy. So you want to keep on going. You understand? So you won't blame him.
All right. Hello, amazing Hood TV viewers. I'd like to welcome you once again to your favorite podcast, The Gist with King Jason. And today we're going to be discussing a very, very, very intriguing and recent happening that was almost everywhere on the social media a few weeks ago. Now, we didn't want to discuss this topic while the whole event was still hot on the social media. We wanted it to die down a bit and then have a discussion and a review of the whole happening. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to your favorite podcast, The Gist with King Jason. And this is my pleasure to be your host yet again on this episode. And in the studio with me, I have two amazing personalities that will be discussing deeply into what we have to discuss today, the subject matter of today's episode. And on my side, I have the beautiful lady. Would you like to introduce yourself to the camera? Thank you.
My name is Mercy. I do anything that brings money. Most specifically, I sell hairs, luxury hairs, and I also do hair installations as frontal wigs.
Oh,
I do.
That's beautiful. Thank you. All right. To the gentleman on the other side, I'd like you to introduce yourself to the camera and to our viewers.
All right. My name is David Obi. Mostly, I'm a graphic artist. A brand called Orphans, and I also have an upcoming fashion line, which I'm very passionate about.
All right. That's amazing. Two amazing personalities in the studio with me. And the topic we're going to be discussing about will blow your mind. The scandal in Equatorial Guinea by one of the political holders there by the name Balthazar Ebang Ekonga. During the period with which this scandal was everywhere and on the social media, there was a lot of opinions, positive and negative, from various individuals on how they saw the scandal at the time. And we're going to be discussing that in the studio at this moment. And at this, I have two beautiful people to discuss this with me. First of all, I'd like to start with Mr. David. What did you view the whole scandal as? Because the said person, in quotes, was a married man who had been married for 15 years, had 6 children, and held a very reputable political position in the country at the time. With the whole scandal and everything that was on the social media, what was your view to it?
Personally, coming from a moral aspect of it, I viewed it as it was just a distraction for the marriage institution, basically. But in general, watching multiple videos, for those that have seen it, I don't know, I don't want to comment on the videos, but watching those videos.
Did you watch the videos?
My spare time, maybe I dabbled into one or two of them. But the positions that were displayed, just showed setting a side of what we all are. But I just feel just because he was caught in the act. So generally, I just feel there's a little bit of morality issue in it in terms of the length of
which we're going to be discussing to
the people that were shown there. Just that's how I felt.
All right. To the beautiful lady, yeah? What was your view on the whole saga?
My personal, I don't know. I really don't know much about him, but I would say there are some things that it's actually like something like from the marriage. Do you understand? Like it has to do with the relationship he has with his family, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you thought it was your perspective to the whole saga was that it was a family issue.
Yes.
Nah, I doubt. I don't think that counts. The reason why is because if it was a single affair, you can say that he was deviating his interest from his traditional interest of the wife. But with such multiple partners, it becomes a trend, and there's so much of a fantasy inside there. I don't think it's the problem he has from the house.
Sometimes some people just want to like this kind of.
Would you say they have sex fantasies or?
Do you understand? and it might be something from the house. Are you getting it? Like issues from the family that might trigger him to do some certain kind of
With
thing. And then,
multiple women.
excuse me, and then you don't test one, you don't test two, and then it's kind of a fantasy. So you want to keep on going. You understand? So you won't blame him.
Real quick, he lately I heard he has been apprehended and he's supposed to serve some jail term. My first question is, do you think his fundamental human right was trampled on by those videos being leaked to the social media and all? Because a lot of people felt that that was his personal life and had nothing to be public about. If the government had access to it, they probably should have let it go out or be in the public, you know. And also, people assume they were people who probably would do more. It's just that they've not been caught. So do you think his fundamental human right was trampled on?
Well, it's debatable. I'll say semantic. The reasons are because foremostly, it's not just him in the videos. And if it was just the selected videos, there are some that I noticed that were probably in locations like a riverside or as far as those ones that were in the office were among those videos, the issue of human rights should be removed because he had those scenes were in a government office where it wasn't supposed to happen. And if it was leaked by any entity, I'm not sure it was leaked by the government, but an entity was leaked by, I don't think we should bring in an issue of human rights there. Because the minute you have something recorded, you should understand that you have no control over it again. That's just how I feel it is.
That's your view.
Yeah, that's my view.
All right, Bessie, how about you?
Exactly what he said, but you don't need to bring anything like fundamental human rights because exactly what he said actually, because you making a video of what you're doing, you want it out.
Those videos were hidden. He didn't leak those videos out himself. Now, a lot of people, while the conversation was still on the social media, a lot of people said, you know, like watch your rematch of your... So it could be one of those things, probably.
So the thing is, maybe they probably would have just asked him the reasons for his actions. Probably not exactly the scandal, like, you understand, but why he made tips out of the things he was doing.
It probably could be for fun.
What you could do. Another thing to check out.
But he should have
it's debatable,
somewhere
right? Let me cut you short and just jump in. If that wasn't the reason why he was arrested initially, that was, yeah. So, but when his case goes through and is exhausted and finds that maybe he is not guilty of the crimes alleged on him initially, I feel if it's a free society, he can decide to sue whichever agency it was that released or leaked for infringing on his privacy. Yes, that's just basically. But it's still debatable because, for all I know, Equatorial Guinea is an authoritarian state, so there's certain things that might be within the frame of open speech and democracy that might not fall into authoritarian states, their views kind of. So it's a win-lose scenario, man. It's already out there. There is nothing much to lose again.
Now, if you notice, most of the ladies he had affairs with were ladies who were also in high places, most of which were his office colleagues, some of his senior colleagues, relatives, let's say wife, daughter, you know, and the wife of his own immediate younger brother. That was something way beyond moral. It's something one would not, you know, imagine. Now, my question is, how was he able to, you know, really penetrate through these ladies and get so many ladies to do that act? Now, a lot of people were saying, I feel the person like Balthazar Ibagikonga should be studied. I feel he should be studied because, I mean, if they were just random ladies who were after money and then, you know, the reason why you're doing this is because they're going to get paid at the end of the day.
Sorry, let me cut you off. It shouldn't be necessary because of money. You know, there are some persons actually that are in some certain kind of you get, and then you want to, do you know this? You want to be promoted, something like that.
Okay.
Then you have to.
But most of the ladies, that's what I'm saying. Most of the ladies were ladies that were wives to officials that were actually higher ranked than him in politics. So what probably could it be that he told them, or how was he able to convince them to get into that act with him? Now, if you watch some of the videos which I stumbled on, none of the ladies were forced. You know, they were enjoying the moment.
Yeah, some of them were stretching the
Some
camera
of
and stuff.
With the one adjusting the cameras to capture. So it was an agreed consent. It was not like it was in the absence of one party's consent. So my idea is, what could it be that those ladies wanted, or how was he able to influence those ladies to easily go into that act with him? Now, if you were 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 5, I probably would have an issue, but they were multiple. And mind you, the population of Equatorial Guinea, as when I heard, was 1,800,000, 1.8 million.
Okay.
And he had a video of over 400.
That's just probably
yes,
a geographical demography of
and the videos were the ones we saw.
Yeah.
How about the ones we didn't see? So the question right now is, how was he able to get into these ladies, to get into this act with them?
To look at.
Clearly, it was not financial influence where we would say the ladies were trying to get money from him or something. So what could it be? And most of this, mind you, most of these women were married.
If I'm going to add there, one thing that we can all agree, for those that have seen the tapes, one thing we can all agree is that the ladies in question enjoyed the act.
Obviously.
All right. So we cannot sit and speak to what he might have told them in that climb, but we can speak to what we know about in this climb. When he really enjoys such acts, obviously word will go around. And just like you mentioned, they are high-class ladies that probably move around the same circle. Gossip will go around. This man is good at this. Because I do not believe for some of them that they had any advantage in terms of offices he was going to grant them. Their husbands are already holding high offices.
Yeah, I love that.
So it would just generally be because of the acts. Someone said that he was good. I want to say, and this thing also speaks to what we say generally about marriages. Men need to understand that most times African men, once they marry wives, they just feel that they become furnitures. Don't give them the attention that they need. I'm not holding any fault
and
for
they
the ladies.
probably were seeking those attentions from.
I'm not holding fault for the ladies on the acts that they pull through and can sing, because they were married, they had institutions that they needed to protect. But I'm just going to speak to the humanity of it all. You know, when certain people, both male and female, become displeased with the scenarios that they find themselves in, they just look for opportunity. Now, I feel in terms of recording it, it is a fantasy. We all have fantasies differently from our lives and things we want to achieve or things we want to experience. So maybe that is one fantasy that such people that recorded it felt like, this is something I haven't done. This is something I want to do. You know, yeah, you might be right. The length and the depth of which he went to conquering, it might need to be studied to understand the demographics or the control of affairs that have to do with
and most
women's were
very unprotected.
Yeah, sad to say. Sad to say.
No, but another thing you really need to look into is about the rules and regulations, laws guiding that country. You know, right? Because for something like that to happen, they were totally fearless. Like, it was obvious that they were comfortable with what they were doing.
It was in secret. Yes.
But the one I heard you said something like Riverside.
Yeah, it was private. It was not like a public place.
The act was like the act. There's no country that act is the criminal offense.
Yeah,
there's no way you can say it's a criminal offense. Or maybe when we get into the Arab nations, but in free world, Africa is a free continent. There is no place you can say it's an offense to have such acts. Whether maybe it's having it in public spaces. That's where it becomes an indecent act. But I don't think it's a criminal offense in that ways.
Do you think there was a power play in this saga due to the fact that Equatorial Guinea is an authoritative society? Yeah. Do you think there was power play to the whole thing that happened? Because, I mean, the said person was in a very reputable political position that also manages or supervises the finances of the country at large. So do you think the position he held at the time also was a factor to consider, you know, in the whole saga? Probably the position gave him more opportunities or gave him an easier access to these people, because probably if he wasn't in that position, he probably might not have done that much. So do you think his political position at the time, and owing to the fact that the said country is an authoritative society, do you think that had a play in the whole saga?
You mean afterwards?
Yes.
Obviously.
Even before.
Yes, he had power, and if I look back at time, there have been largely two things that influence women: power and money. He seems to have both of them.
Some good looks too as well. He's a fine man.
So that might have been the initial attraction for most of his ladies to get into that scenario with him. Then talking about afterwards, why it was leaked. From what I've read, there's a lot to read about it. He's in the Democratic Party there, and the president is his great uncle. He's a great nephew to the president, and his father, that's Balthazar Ekong, his father is the chairman of CIMAC. So that family, that close unit, they're holding a lot of position to hold to. And in any political sphere, things act like this are going to be possible and going to be effective if you want to create a loophole for another party, maybe to emerge, or for another candidate. So surely, because I cannot see any reason aside while those videos, knowing fully well the people that were in those clips, why it could have been leaked if not for a power play. That's the only thing I can hold back and make sense about it.
Sorry, let me ask a quick question. So how was those videos discovered?
Okay, so there was a suspicion that he probably was involved in some financial crime or money laundering, as we would say. So the government official actually went to his apartment to ransack. They went to his house to ransack.
They recorded all those videos in
his apartment. Yes, they did. The CD played 400 of them.
Wait, his marital home?
Yes, I guess so. I can't be sure, but it was said to me his apartment.
The thing is, this thing happened miles away. Let us look at ourselves. So since the questions you're asking, I want to ask you this also personally. Do you not have things that that can implicate you in your confines of your homes, your home per se?
So why I asked that question is because he's married.
Yeah, he's married.
I don't know.
He had been married for 15 years. He had 6 kids.
So you
had a beautiful wife.
See things like this in your house. Are you not scared your wife might see it or something?
I mean, the world is littered with people that bring business home. You have rooms that maybe your wife and children don't go.
Not allowed to get into.
These are CDs, they can simply be kept inside a briefcase and no one will be the wiser.
Can't tell if they were hidden. They probably must have been hidden and not in an open space in his apartment. So they actually ransacked the apartment and found.
It wasn't like they were littered for you to
it's really stumble on one.
Be littered, but how do you want to hide something in your marital home? Like,
where else is he going to keep them if he wants to be reviewing them every now and then? Where else is he going to see them?
Because I used to have an uncle who was very prominent at the time. He had an apartment, and in his apartment, very large mansion, and he had this room where it was just him who goes, nobody else. It was a library. It was a library. Actually, it was in a form of a library. Every time he goes in there, you can't put it. The only way you can get to him is put a call through to him. Yeah, nobody's allowed to knock the door. Nobody's allowed to go in. But at some times, we go in just to see and be sure. Okay, yeah, there's nothing, to suspect around there.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, how am I as a wife? And then there's a particular space my husband doesn't want me.
You probably might be going, like he said, it was not really.
You can't be on a briefcase. You wouldn't know what it is. You're not an
invisible and have a safe that you can't even tell.
Thank you. You could be in a safe too.
Yeah, so you could be in a safe that the wife doesn't.
Like I said, there are CD plates, yes, and the 400 videos, depending on it could just be maybe 20 tapes and different clips.
400 tapes.
It's not exact.
I want to know what's at least one of it.
Okay, so now you can't pry into the marriage because you didn't know how it was at the time. The only thing the social media let us know at the time,
they were discovered.
He was married for 15 years. He had a good home. He had 6 children. And what we just heard was those videos were discovered in his apartment.
Then I heard was, I didn't really see, or I just heard it that I think from this guy, they said a video of the wife.
Okay, we were going to get to that too as well. Yeah. So that's a video of the wife was leaked at a point too as well. And we were surprised because a lot of people were actually I even heard, I don't know how true it was, I even heard a story that she fainted when she heard about the whole story saga and then saw the videos too. But then it was her video was even, when I watched the video.
Okay, what's the lady's video?
I saw a clip. Yeah, I have friends who had it right in my mind. And then when I saw it, it was
It's all over the internet. So
see, it was even crazier than
if you are defining,
said guys.
we're going to look for your search browser. Let us see the kind of videos you're watching.
So next up, what do you think is the moral impact of this around the society at large?